Hello Whovians, and welcome back to the Kingdom of the Geeks. I really hope you watched the new episode of Doctor Who, Robot of Sherwood, because it is awesome. It's by far one of my favorite new episodes. First of all, let me begin by saying that I think I noticed something in this episode that not a lot of people noticed. And I will talk about that towards the end of this review. Because as I was reading all the comments on like Reddit and other websites about the opinions on the Doctor Who episode, no one really seemed to mention this particular thing. So I can't wait to talk to you guys about it, and maybe if you watch this video and you've noticed the same thing, please leave me a comment below and tell me if you agree. Another thing that I really want to say is that I loved Robin Hood as a kid. It was one of my favorite stories, but not for the reasons that you think. Most little girls grow up reading Robin Hood and they really like the romance and how he rescues Maid Marian and how they end up together and blah 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 blah. I like Robin Hood because I really like the idea of these like big burly men living in the woods somewhere and like robbing rich people and giving all of their riches to the poor. I think that's such an awesome idea. And when I was little, I wasn't picturing myself as Maid Marian or any type of romantic things associated with Robin Hood. I was a weird kid. I totally wanted to be in the woods with Robin Hood and all his merry men with like a weapon, a bow and arrow, just like helping him rob rich people and doing good deeds. I never fantasized about like the romance of the story. I totally wanted to just like live all dirty in the forest in the middle of nowhere with just like nothing but a few supplies and weapons. I thought for some strange reason that sounded like the most fun thing in the world. Maybe it comes from the fact that my childhood was very, very sheltered, but I was like, I want to be free and live in the woods and just do nothing all day besides like roll around in dirt and kill things. Like, what? Yeah, that was my fantasy as a little girl. So I noticed three things in the very beginning of this episode that I thought were hilarious. I really love that when Clara came out of the TARDIS, in addition to her fantastic new medieval outfit, she also somehow grew long hair. I don't know how that happened. I mean, did she like put on extensions? Does the TARDIS like have hair extensions in its wardrobe room too? I don't understand how that happened. But that was interesting. Number two, I noticed the TARDIS healing itself. When Robin Hood's arrow struck the TARDIS, the Doctor took it out and the hole in the TARDIS in the wood just repaired itself. I thought that was so cool. I'm like, oh, we can see the TARDIS healing, yay! And the third thing that was really funny in the beginning of this episode was when the Doctor was putting on his glove getting ready to duel with Robin Hood and he inadvertently flipped off Robin Hood. That's right, here's the proof. Everyone's talking about it. The Doctor is a new badass. He's flipping people off now. I think it's awesome. I thought that the spoon fencing was absolutely hysterical. Like, this new Doctor is coming out with really fantastic and ingenious ways to make me laugh. Like, who just takes out a spoon and goes like, ha! I'm gonna fight you with this! We were also introduced to the Merry Men, which the Doctor totally thought were all fake, and spent like 15 minutes running around and checking their blood and DNA and figuring out if they were actually real, which was so funny. And for those of you who don't like campy, funny episodes like that, this may not be one of your favorites. Personally, I loved it. And then we're also introduced to the Sheriff of Nottingham, who I thought in this episode had a very similar look to the Master, the way he used to look during the Third Doctor's era. Here, I'll show you a picture for proof. A lot of people don't really like the squabbling that the Doctor and Robin Hood were doing while they were locked up in the cell. I thought that was one of the best parts of the episode. I thought it was really funny when the guard came in to take the leader of their group to see the sheriff and totally picked Clara because he was looking in and going, yeah, that chick, she's definitely the leader of this group. Well, Clara's just like, I am dealing with two idiots right now. Oh my god, these two idiots. Like, there's an alien who's 2,000 years old and has all the life experience in the world, and freaking Robin Hood, and they're sitting here and they're like, instead of escaping and thinking of some awesome plan, they're like squabbling away, and I really loved that she yelled at them. That was really good. I am really starting to like Clara now. I'm glad she actually picked up a weapon. Congratulations, Clara. You're finally catching on. Amy caught on like episode 2, but it's good. Better late than never. As you can see, I'm doing a little ode to Clara with this outfit because it kind of looked like the outfit she had on in the Asylum of the Daleks. And yes, if you are wondering, I am wearing Hello Kitty earrings. That's right. One of the funniest lines in this episode was when the Doctor and Robin Hood were squabbling, and Robin Hood made a joke about the Doctor dying because he's so much older than he is, and the Doctor's just like, I think you'll find that I have a certain genetic advantage, and I just died. That was hilarious. So apparently the Doctor is still totally useless without his sonic screwdriver, which I thought was really funny for Claire to point it out. It was like the fans screaming out at him like, oh my god, enough with the sonic, and here's Clara saying the same thing, just like, seriously, everything you do, you rely on your sonic. Can you think of something else? So Clara gets taken away to see the sheriff for a little bit of a talk, and she went a little Marjorie Tyrell there for a minute. I was really proud. I was like, damn, look at you using your feminine wiles to get what you want. Finally. I was thinking though, while she was pretending to seduce the sheriff, couldn't she like inch her way towards the edge of the table where the sonic was and just like kind of slip it up her sleeve or something? I mean, come on. That was the whole point, right? Another really great line was when the Doctor was shackled up in the dungeon and Maid Marian was helping him escape. We didn't know that she was Maid Marian back then, but anyway. And then the robot guard comes up and makes sure that he's not trying to escape, and the Doctor's like, I'm already free! Whee! I nearly collapsed with laughter. That was hysterical. So there were a few things that I continuously kept noticing throughout this episode that I'm like, okay, they'll come back to that, right? But they didn't, and I think that maybe we will reference a lot of things that happened in this episode sometime in the future, because I noticed that Robin Hood was a little too perfect. And by that I mean that I guess he was told to overact and act the way that he was on purpose, because he's supposed to be like overly jolly, like he's hiding all of his emotions and his pain, and he pretends to be okay by going ha and just laugh all the time and make jokes. And I thought that was really cool, but I thought that I was also done for a reason, and I thought that reason would be revealed at the end of the episode, but it wasn't. When he slid down the banister with Clara by just holding a dagger onto the banister and sliding down, that was very cartoony and like fakey, but that was done for a reason, I think. I think it was meant to be cliche, but at the same time it was supposed to show something else. If you will notice, robots and never aging seems to be a recurring theme in this season, so I think it's all going to combine at the very end of season 8, and we're all going to get a giant explanation for what the Promised Land is, and where all these crazy robots are coming from, and why are there all these spaceships out there traveling across the universe collecting human body parts. What? Okay, so here's what I want to mention that I noticed that I don't think a lot of people did. Robin Hood was very perfect in this episode, and that is one of the reasons that the Doctor thought that he wasn't real. He thought that he was either another robot or an anomaly generated by the atmosphere and the climate change. So here's what happens. Robin Hood ends up injuring his arm towards the end of the episode, and that's why Clara and the Doctor have to help him to shoot the golden arrow into the ship that's flying away. By the way, that ending where they had to shoot the arrow onto the spaceship, and apparently the arrow hitting the side of the spaceship gave it enough power to be launched into the atmosphere. I mean, way bizarre, and I've never seen anything less sciencey on Doctor Who. But let's just move past it, suspend the belief, whatever. And let's talk about the fact that Robin Hood had an injured arm. Claire and the Doctor had to help him shoot the arrow at that point. Cut to like 5 minutes or so later when they are saying goodbye, and Robin Hood seems to know a little bit too much info about the Doctor. I mean, I guess Clara told him all of this, but somehow I don't think she would give up that much information. So it seemed a little bit strange that he knew quite that much about who the Doctor was in his past. But also, his arm magically heals at the end. If you really watch the episode ending, he doesn't seem to have an injured arm at the end anymore. He's prancing around just fine. He hugs Maid Marian, and he uses his arm that's supposed to be injured, and no one seems to really notice. The Doctor and Clara just like take off, and it's not mentioned again. That may also be a reason why the Doctor left Maid Marian for him, maybe as like a consolation, kind of like, okay, you may not be real, but you know what? You believe that you're real, so here's the love of your life. But regardless, I think there was something up with Robin Hood and the Merry Men. I don't think that they were real after all. And maybe we will come back to this whole story at some point towards the end, and maybe it will all be explained. I don't know. But mark my words, I do not think that Robin Hood and Merry Men were real after all. But we'll see if I'm correct or not. I absolutely can't wait for this next episode. I really hope that we get to see more of Missy and maybe be given a little bit more clues as to what the heck she's up to and who she is. And I also can't wait to post more of these reviews. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching my review of Robot of Sherwood. I'm Kitty, this is Salem, and we will see you next time. Bye!